Welcome to the Phonological Awareness in Early Learning and Childcare training video. This video sits as part of the training videos in the series for taking a developmental approach to emerging literacy across early learning and childcare. In this video, we will explore what phonological awareness is, why it's important to children's literacy, language and communication development, and how you as practitioners can support the development of phonological awareness through developmentally appropriate play experiences, both indoors and outdoors. There are two elements to consider when reflecting on our provision in early learning and childcare. The first is around the quality of our adult-child interactions. Separate to this training are our Words Up Early Interaction Key Messages. The Words Up Early Interaction Key Messages have been developed to support quality adult-child interactions in the home environment and in early learning and childcare settings and schools. The second element that we consider is the quality of our learning environment and how our learning environment supports children's development. Seeing these two elements woven together, we need to reflect how our adult-child interactions support children's development within our learning environment. This slide shows the key components that underpin children's literacy, language and communication development. In focusing on quality adult-child interactions and planning for our learning environment, we can support the development of these emerging literacy key components through developmentally appropriate play experiences. We know that from the research that the more established these key components are, the more benefit children will get from formal instruction of reading and writing in school. Today we are going to focus on one of these key elements, phonological awareness. Phonological awareness is the ability to recognise and work with sounds in our spoken language. It's important to children's literacy, language and communication development as it's an underpinning skill of learning to read and learning to spell. Speech and language therapists have put together a typical developmental continuum for phonological awareness. You should note that not all children will follow this typical development of phonological awareness. Some children will have some of the later skills while still having gaps in some of the earlier skills. In this task, you're going to engage further with the phonological awareness continuum. Prior to this task, you should have the cut-up phonological awareness skills from the phonological awareness continuum and the cut-up definitions and examples. In this task, you are going to match the phonological awareness skill to the associated definition and example. You should now pause the video. Over the next few slides, we are going to explore the phonological awareness skills alongside their associated definition and example. Listening and attention is being able to listen to and attend at an appropriate developmental level. An example of this might be a child that can attend to an adult-led activity for a short time, dependent on age and stage of the child's development. Auditory discrimination is hearing differences between a range of sounds. An example of this may be when two musical instruments are played, for example a triangle and a maraca, the child recognises that these are different sounds. Visual and auditory memory is the amount of information that a child can recall from what they've seen, visual, or heard, auditory. An example of auditory memory may be when the adult says cat, pen, ball, the child is able to say this back to the adult. For visual memory, the adult may show items that they know the child would recognise, for example a cat, a pen and a ball, and then hide these. The child would then be able to tell the adult what they saw. Word boundaries is being able to hear where one word ends and where the next begins in a sentence. For example, When the adult says the sentence, the child is then able to jump out individual words in hoops or use an item, for example a pine cone, to represent each word. Rhyme awareness and detection is identifying two or more words that rhyme from the words heard. For example, when the adult says cat, car, hat, the child knows that cat and hat rhyme. Syllable blending is being able to blend syllables heard into a whole word. For example, when the adult says playing, this is put together by the child as playing. Syllable detection is splitting a given word into syllables. For example, when the adult says the word playing, this is split into playing by the child. Rhyme production is generating words that rhyme with a given word or words. These could be nonsense words. So for example, when the adult says cat, pat, sat, the child might add bat or rat. Onset rhyme is splitting a given word into the onset and the rhyme. The onset is the sounds before the first vowel, and the rhyme is all the rest. An example may be when the adult says the word cat, the child would split this into k, at. Phoneme discrimination is hearing and identifying differences between speech sounds. An example may be when the adult says two speech sounds, for example, s and p. The child can identify that there is a difference. Alliteration detection is hearing and identifying words that begin with the same sound. For example, the adult may show three pictures, two that have objects starting with the same sound and one that is different. The adult may say, "This is a bag. It starts with the b sound. I wonder what else starts with the b sound. Bear or cat." Phoneme blending is putting individual sounds together to make a word. So when the adult says k, a, t, this is put together by the child as cat. Phoneme segmentation is splitting a word into individual sounds. So an example may be when the adult says the word cat, this is split up into individual sounds by the child as k, a, t. It is not developmentally appropriate, nor is it to be expected, for children to have secure phonological awareness in all of the aspects as they transition from nursery into primary 1. In early learning and childcare, we prioritise the earlier stages of phonological awareness development. These are the stages that can be seen on the screen now: listening and attention, auditory discrimination, visual and auditory memory, word boundaries, and rhyme awareness and detection. Focusing on these earlier skills helps build a strong, solid foundation in which to build the later skills in phonics and spelling when children are in school. It may be appropriate for some individuals to focus on some of the later skills of phonological awareness, through adults and children playing and talking together. Some children will develop phonological awareness through day-to-day interactions, and others will require further explicit instruction. When planning for phonological awareness in early learning and childcare settings, practitioners can focus on hearing the different sounds in the environment, both indoors and outdoors. So this may, for example, being able to hear the different sounds using musical instruments. Hearing words in a sentence. This may be able to hear the words when we are sharing a story or a song. And being able to hear rhythm and rhyme. As a group, we'd like you to discuss in what ways do you currently support phonological awareness development through children's play both indoors and outdoors. You should now pause the video. The next few slides are going to explore some ways in which, through your adult-child interactions and planning for your learning environment, you can support children's phonological awareness development. In developing children's auditory discrimination, you are supporting them to hear different sounds in the environment. By providing opportunities to explore musical instruments, both indoors and outdoors, and through adults interacting with children in their play with these musical instruments, children can explore the different sounds that these make. When playing and talking together with children as they play with musical instruments, adults can make comments on the differences and the similarities in terms of the sounds these instruments make. The Songs and Rhymes Guidance provides practitioners with some key points to consider when sharing songs and rhymes. The Words Up Early interaction key messages are built into this guidance. The guidance prompts practitioners to reflect on how they currently use songs and rhymes, and how they support the development of songs and rhymes through aspects such as props and visuals, reflecting on how they minimise the distractions and provide a quiet time to share songs and rhymes, and also how they embed songs and rhymes into the environment. For example, singing the song or rhyme in the sandpit when adults and children are playing and talking together. Rhyme time is a loose model that can support the development of Rhyme of the Week in the early learning and childcare setting. It considers the different phonological awareness skills such as rhythm, word boundaries, and syllables that can be developed through sharing rhymes. This structure can be adapted to suit the needs of the individual setting and the individual children that are in your early learning and childcare setting. Rhyme time provides a wealth of opportunities for children to become familiar with a rhyme over a week. As a group, consider the guidance that has been shared in the last few slides and sit with the guidance in sharing songs and rhymes and the guidance around about rhyme time. Discuss as a group in what ways that you could further support the development of children's phonological awareness skills through developmentally appropriate play both indoors and outdoors. Reflect on the opportunities to engage with different sounds in the environment, words in a sentence, and rhyme and rhythm. You should identify your next steps as a setting. You should now pause the video. You have now reached the end of the Phonological Awareness in Early Learning and Childcare training video.